This is the MindGrapes podcast. We discuss the tastiest trends in streaming media. Now, here are your hosts, Clark Cave and Trent Reese.
Hey, welcome MindGrapes Nation to episode 5 of the MindGrapes podcast. Today is March 26th, and I'm joined, as always, by Trent Reese, and we have a special guest today, Blair Bowler. Welcome to the MindGrapes podcast.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, can I just say, this past week I was in the shower, and I had an epiphany.
I like where this is going.
Right? So I was just thinking about it. There have been so many good shows that we've been discussing on a weekly basis. And these shows aren't on the same streaming platform, right? You have Apple TV, you have Paramount Plus, you have Discovery, you have Netflix, you have Hulu. And I feel right now like we are in a golden age of streaming. Mm-hmm. You have all of these organizations that are creating this amazing, amazing content. Mm-hmm. Like it's super high quality, production level is amazing. And for those of us that have officially cut the cord and moved away from cable, it has been so difficult to keep up with all of this content. And if you aren't actively looking for the information, you're going to miss so many good movies and so many good shows. And I think that that's the value that MindGrapes brings. Just for instance, I know we're going to talk WeCrashed later on in the episode. Mm-hmm. I never would have heard of WeCrashed if it wasn't for you and if it wasn't for MindGrapes. Mm-hmm. Halo was released last week, or I believe it was on Wednesday or Thursday of this week. I didn't even know the first episode aired until I saw it on MindGrapes. And I was just so excited for what this application offers to people, because I think that truly there's so much good content out there, and MindGrapes provides you the way to bridge the gap and not miss it. Mm-hmm. You're not going to miss the next good movie, the next good show, because the people around you are going to be suggesting it. Okay, just wanted to throw that out there. I like where we're going.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. And another thing we were discussing earlier, and with Blair too, you are what you watch. So there's a deep connectivity in understanding the type of entertainment that your friends have, or that your friends appreciate. So Blair's been on MindGrapes since the very beginning, and I've got a good idea of what you're into. Billions and some of the other shows that you've really appreciated and that you've asked me to watch, and I still. Billions is one of the first things I put on my watch list, and now I have like 100 things on top of it. So, but yeah, great. But couldn't agree more. We are in a golden age because everyone has created these platforms and everyone's competing with each other. So they're making really, really good content. Yeah. And if you blink, you'll miss something that was actually really fantastic. So, okay, well, let's go on ahead and get cracking. Since this is Blair's first time with us, I'm going to go ahead and ask, what's on your MindGrapes?
So, man, I've been binging Bridgerton. Mm-hmm. That's been my main thing.
Own it.
But some of the other shows that I've watched, caught up with Succession. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I love Billions. I haven't been able to watch the new season, but that's definitely on my MindGrapes. Don't Look Up is a movie I watch, The Adam Project, but Bridgerton is currently...
That's the current binge. Okay.
That's the current binge.
What do you like so much about it?
Honestly, man, I wouldn't have... I've seen Bridgerton on every social media platform with people talking about it, and if it wasn't for my girlfriend, I literally wouldn't have watched it. But I'm all about watching new things. I will literally watch anime, and that's not my thing, but I'll watch it if you say it's good.
Yeah.
So it's been good, though. I mean, it's different. A take on the romance, Regency era. They have a lot of diversity where there wouldn't be in the historical context, but it's really like a soap opera. And again, I don't know if I would watch this. I wouldn't be pressed to watch the second season, even though I'm here now, so I'm committed.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been good so far.
If the girlfriend's watching it, you
already know.
Yeah.
That was a major theme of last week's podcast. The things we watch when we can no longer choose for ourselves, right?
Yeah, and then we end up liking it anyways.
Yeah.
And getting committed to the show.
Babe, just one more episode. It's fine. Like just one more episode. Don't
if
make
you
it 12:30
insist,
in the morning.
but I get my choice after this.
Yeah.
But
3 episodes of Siesta Key later.
yeah, right. Which is so bad. I started watching Bridgerton, couldn't get into it, but I don't think I didn't really give it a chance, to be honest with you. It seemed like this is like a Downton Abbey kind of thing, like beautiful, architecture, days of old kind of thing.
Great costume.
Did you guys watch Downton Abbey?
I've watched a couple episodes of it, and that's actually a great comparison.
No. Really?
It's a great comparison.
Haven't seen it.
I feel like this is weird. I'm so far behind that if I did want to start Downton Abbey, because it's probably not something I'd be into, but everyone I know loves that show, so I'd be in for like a month worth of content, right? Have you guys? I mean, I guess we're just talking about Downton Abbey, but
That's with any show though. Like I remember, I was overseas, just chilling, and I wasn't on the what show was that? I can't think of it. It don't come on top of my head, but I was six seasons behind, and
where were you? Can you say where you were?
I was in Poland.
Okay.
And I legitimately, for 2 weeks, just binged this show every day after like whatever we got going on. And I would find myself literally in my cot just sitting here like watching for 6 hours straight, just this movie. And I'm like, I should definitely be sleeping right now.
What show was it?
It's this, what's the show from HBO?
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
I was going to say, I was literally just going to say this was me in Game of Thrones, because I was
Yeah.
like 4 seasons behind everybody else.
People kept talking about it, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, man, like, I'll give it a chance.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing with Lord of the Rings. A lot of people still have not watched Lord of the Rings, but it's a masterpiece.
It is.
Yeah.
But, I was already 6 seasons behind, and then I legitimately was like, man, I cannot stop watching this.
Dude, you strike gold. Like when you find something and you're like it's season 1.
Yeah.
Imagine having never watched The
Yeah.
Office, and then you find The Office like
You're
today.
like, I can't get
Just-
enough. That's been the hardest part, and we touched on this last week. The hardest part with all of these shows is now there are 4 series that are releasing episodes on a weekly basis,
Yeah.
and it's like I just want to binge it so I can finish one series, but now I'm watching 4 different series concurrently, and it makes it difficult, but it's also really exciting.
Yes. But it upsets you on one hand. But I guess you got another episode next week if you just wait. I guess I've been doing that with Married at First Sight and what else? We're doing that. Married at First Sight and Summer House. Those are my 2.
But you know what's important, though? MindGrapes.
Yes.
Like, you get involved in one show and you forget about the other shows you
Yeah.
wanted to watch.
Yes.
This is the whole point of like having this platform.
It is great.
You just go back to your watch list.
Yes.
You're like, oh yeah, I was totally watching that. Like 4 episodes have been released since I last watched it.
I have a movie that I'll get into, but what haven't you liked? Anything? What have you given anything a thumbs down recently?
Let me go into my MindGrapes. I actually have. I didn't love Sweet Girl.
That's not
Yes,
even one
I remember that.
I've heard of.
That's with Jason Momoa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you do me a favor, Clark? Can you bring it up?
Yeah. Can you give me my thing or set me up real quick?
Yep, I'm setting you up.
Yeah, I didn't love it because it had potential in the beginning, and I didn't really know what was. I thought I knew what was going on, and then they tried to trick me. I won't give any spoilers, but they do a flip in the movie towards the end, and I was like very confused of where this action came from. It was very forced, but overall, I think the acting was different for Jason Momoa because he doesn't have to be Aquaman and like this super.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just vulnerable as a father, and it was cool to see him in that role. But again, like
You don't think of him in that role.
It's not working. I'm not getting you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You're not, or I'm not detecting you.
let me restart it.
Yeah, I thought they tried too hard. Like we've said this multiple times. Cinema during COVID was generally, it seemed lazy in a lot of cases. There were like things that were just like not very good at all. But yeah, I guess one thing. Okay, here we go. I can show you my screen mirroring right now. But there was one of these movies that I had to dig because I hadn't. Let me know. Okay, can you see me?
Yes.
A movie that was on my watch list was I'm gonna find the actor because I have to go through Predator. Did you guys like the last Predator that was made, by the way?
What, is that the one of like the Predator after Predator versus Alien?
It had Keegan-Michael Key in it.
I heard it was bad.
Yeah, it got a 5.3. Yeah, the first one was my favorite movie of all time. But yeah, this In the Shadow of the Moon. Anyone watch that?
Sounds intriguing.
Yes, it was like one of those. It was one of those.
It's like a spy movie,
but a time travel, like a guy. Things happen to him at different parts in his life, where it's. I didn't finish it. I love the concept of the movie, but this is one of those movies where I knew I wanted to watch it. I would have completely forgotten, but it just kind of fell deep into the Netflix archives or something like that. Okay, so. Blair, thank you so much, and feel free to crack-wise chime in. But Trent, what is on your mind, Grapes?
Okay, so it was an exciting week this week. I'm one of those kids that grew up playing Halo in junior high, high school, like having the LAN parties at your friend's house, playing Halo and. Staying up till 4 a.m. playing.
Yeah.
And so this week, the Halo live action series dropped on Paramount Plus. And I didn't even know that it was supposed to release this past week. And I actually saw on MindGrapes. That's how I found out that it was playing. So, again, they're releasing every episode on a week-to-week basis. So I got through the first episode. Last weekend, though, I saw a news article that it was from the directors, the producers of Halo, and a question that they got from a reporter was, what input did Bungie have? Bungie is the game developer of Halo. What input did Bungie have into the series? And the director, I don't even have the guy's name, director basically said, I didn't talk to the game developers. I didn't want to talk to the game developers because I didn't want that to limit my vision of what the series could be. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't know Halo, don't play Halo, the big thing about the game is the lore. It's the whole story of Halo that makes Halo what it is, makes it amazing. So the fact that the director came out and said, I don't want to discuss the lore with the game developers. I'm kind of want to do my own thing. Like I'll adapt the characters to my vision. And right after this article came out, you saw all of the diehard Halo fans like, bro, what the hell?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And you saw a lot of people coming out saying, I'm not going to watch the series because what's the point? If it's going to be simply a new spinoff of Master Chief doing some other thing that isn't even the lore of Halo, why do I want to watch it? So that being said, I did watch the first episode and it was entertaining. Some of it was, I think, a little overdone. They tried to make it video gamey on purpose because I think that was like some red meat for the hardcore fans out there. But yeah, just it doesn't follow the lore. You have a lot of the same characters, but that's basically it. And you kind of saw at the end of the first episode that they're going in a different direction. Mm-hmm. The big thing is in the game, you never see Master Chief's face. In the first episode of the Halo, the live action series, you see Master Chief's face. And you're like, this is kind of the direction that they're going. They want to make Master Chief this personal character. So I am giving it the benefit of the doubt going forward. But I don't have too high hopes of it sticking really closely to the game, the storyline.
That's super frustrating, though. Like, that's like Harry Potter not following the book.
Yeah, and that's essentially what it is. And the funny thing is, because they got all of this backlash from the hardcore Halo fans, they did like this is on Paramount Plus. So along with the series, you have another series that's like called Halo Backstage or something. And all they're trying to do is justify why they did what they did. And like, we're trying to open the Halo series to everybody. And it's like, I'm sorry, but if you're not a Halo fan as far as the game goes, you're probably not going to watch the series. Mm-hmm. But it reminded me of South Park, you know, when you have the BP oil spill, and it's like, we're sorry. And that's kind of what it felt like. It was almost disingenuous, and even Pablo Schreiber, thanks for bringing that up, he was interviewed in that spinoff and said, you know, I never played Halo growing up. So he was just excited for the role, and I was like, okay, whatever. For the hardcore, I'm more open-minded, I think, and I'm going to watch the series and finish the series. But for those true hardcore fans, I think this is probably a series that they're not even going to consider, and they're not going to watch just because of the fact that it doesn't follow the lore.
Well, it looks like it has a good cast. What about
great cast?
What about people who didn't watch Halo?
I don't know. I think so. I did go on Twitter for a little bit.
Or
and
didn't play Halo. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw Twitter, like people were, you know, generally positive reviews, but it didn't seem like they were Halo players as far as the game goes. So this is one thing I would like, you know, some more engagement on MindGrapes, people that have grew up playing Halo, just to get their idea. And I'm going to hold off on giving it a rating. I'm not going to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down right now because I want to watch the majority of the season before I give it, before I determine what I think it should be.
Yeah.
So it's a show I'm still going to continue to watch, and I was really excited for a live-action Halo series. A little disappointed that it doesn't follow the game lore that closely, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Well, thank you for that. I'm on your profile now, by the way. Am I showing up?
Yeah.
Just want to say congratulations on your A+.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a big week last week. I got the A+.
Nice, man. Okay, so I'm looking at your watch list right now. You got a few things. What are you most excited about on your watch list?
All right, so we've talked about it a couple weeks now. We talked about WeCrashed.
Yes.
And I said I hadn't watched it yet because I didn't have an Apple TV subscription. So I caved, and I'm like, gosh, this looks so good because we're super into the whole docu-series, the docudramas with these startup companies. It's the same thing as The Dropout, super pumped. Now WeCrashed. Like, I love this genre. I can't get enough of it. So I caved. I got Apple TV. I watched the first episode this morning. I am hooked. Again, we talked about it at the beginning, but the quality of these series that are being released, it's incredible. I mean, amazing cast. You're talking Jared Leto, sorry, I can't pronounce his name, and Hathaway, too. And just the production quality is really good. I think the storyline is really good. So yeah, I'm in one episode, and I think there are 5 currently on Apple TV. So this is probably what I'm going to be watching the rest of this weekend while waiting for the new Halo episode to come out.
This is crazy. Do you know when Jared Leto was born?
He's old, isn't he? Well, I'm 1971.
1971. What?
He's 50 years old.
God, he looks.
I hope I could age like him,
dude. Well, I'm not. We're gonna talk about Morbius probably coming up soon because I'm like crazy excited about that. But Jared Leto, I don't think he's particularly tall.
I don't remember him.
I don't think so. I think most Hollywood actors are probably below 5'8", 5'7".
But
most actors are short.
So he's playing Adam Newman. Adam Newman is the.
I'll switch to desktop view when we're talking to Adam Newman.
Okay. Adam Newman was the Israeli founder of WeWork. And WeWork, if anyone doesn't know, then you might want to move out of your barn. But it's all they do is rent office space, right?
They sublease.
They sublease office space. So I've been in a few WeWorks, like in Washington, D.C. You go up there and there's like, you sit at desks and they have like free LaCroix and it's kind of nice. And then they have like beer after 5. Have you ever been in a WeWork?
No.
Okay.
But I know the concept.
They're just nice little office spaces. Are you familiar with the WeWork story?
No.
Okay. So Adam Newman was this like literally larger than life. He was like 6'5", and his other co-founder was like 6'7", and he essentially sold subleasing office space as like
this is the next thing.
I want to elevate he used terms like I want to elevate the world's consciousness, which doesn't mean anything, but he got people really excited, and he'd have like Woodstock like weekend fest for people who helped with subleasing. So where it gets interesting, and the series really focuses a lot on Anne Hathaway's character, the wife's character. So Adam Newman's wife is actually cousins with Gwyneth Paltrow. So they have that in common. She's a little kooky. She's definitely kooky in the show, but if you ever watch her on like interviews with her, she's definitely kooky.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening, Adam Newman got investment from SoftBank, which is this really, really big Japanese venture capitalist firm. And apparently, the story goes, the guy from SoftBank who had invested in like really big companies and made like tons of money in like other unicorns said, "You go hard. We're going to give you a ton of money. You go big. You go hard." And so Adam Newman just spent just frivolously on jets and just all kinds of crazy stuff. But what he'd done, he bought some of these properties in his own name, and then he leased them to WeWork.
Yeah.
So just about as, all the corrupt stuff you could do.
It was his real estate that he was renting from himself.
Yes. So very much like The Dropout and Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos, someone gets a hold of this story and says, wait, this guy in his like business plan mentions technology like a million times, and he subleases office space. Like, it's a good business, but this is not a $47 billion business. Yeah. That's not what this is. They had 300, 400 locations worldwide. It was great. Good business. This was not Tesla, right? So anyway.
So I got this pulled up right now. His net worth is $1.5 billion. And he currently owns 10% stake in the newly public company. So WeWork still exists to this day.
So they went public.
Yeah, they went public after he was ousted as CEO.
Huh.
He sold nearly $1 billion worth of his shares while the company was private. So again, he was selling this image of what WeWork was while also kind of knowing in the background, like, we're probably overvalued a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and sell my shares and protect myself while I can.
And his whole image was, this is about us. Like, the entire company, we're family. And he grew up on a commune, but in Israel they call them kibbutz. So everyone just lives together and works together. I guess they have money, but it's more like everyone's has a role. It's like a socialist, communist kind of world. And he's like, I'm going to create that inside of office space. But then leaves everyone high and dry when the company goes bust, and like everyone's like, wait, you sold us this lie. Like, we worked 80-hour weeks for minimum wage, and I just can't. I can't get enough of this stuff.
Yeah, fascinating series.
Like, I think what's so interesting is I could never do that. Maybe it's just I'm so insecure. Maybe I could never sell someone like, here, I'm gonna need you to give me your money.
I'm the same way.
I have a lot of confidence that I can make sure you benefit from what you're doing.
What's the culture of WeWork now?
So the whole thing about WeWork is like, people don't work for WeWork. Obviously, they have their corporate structure or whatever, but they sublease to smaller companies.
Okay.
So for startups or for small businesses of 1 to 5 people, they lease property from WeWork. And the whole thing is, it's a collaborative environment. It's almost like an incubator where you have a bunch of different businesses working in the same office space, and that's supposed to inspire collaboration between businesses. And the whole thing was creating this environment to stimulate ideas and everything. The whole thing was like they had an open bar there, so after you finish work for the day, you can go, get drunk, have a hangover. You could play ping pong with another company. It was this whole open space thing that was really big between like 2014 and 2018.
That was the concept.
It was like Google was doing it, where it's like, oh, we want our people to be happy when they're at work. When it was just, actually, we want to provide fun stuff for them to do so they never actually leave the office.
Yeah. So it was just office space. And because prior to that, people would take their laptops to Starbucks and just use the Starbucks Wi-Fi. And like, this was a step up from that. You paid a little bit more money and you got a bathroom and then free LaCroix and Nippets, or what are the little crackers?
Like Pellegrino.
You got San Pellegrino and free crackers or Pop-Tarts or something like that. No one collaborates. No one, at least in DC, where I guess everyone's stiff anyway, but no one talked to each other. You had a conference room or like little quiet rooms you could go to, but everyone just sat there and used the Wi-Fi. And I guess if you had roommates, this was a step up from doing any work at your house.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like working out, you want to be around people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think home gyms are typically unsuccessful.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool at first, and
which is hilarious. Which is why the whole thing of Peloton, like I don't know if you've been keeping up with Peloton's share price over the last 3 months, but it's been tanking.
Really?
And you've had like the public gyms, so like Gold's Gyms, Planet Fitness, their stock price is now going the opposite direction. So it's like everybody's realizing like, hey, this image that we sold of the home gym is kind of fading now that we're coming out on the other end of COVID.
Nordic Tracker, they've been doing this hustle for decades.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like I was a household mover for 3 years, 3 or 4 years actually. Every Nordic Track or treadmill I ever moved was under hanging clothes or underneath someone's bed.
Never get used.
It's like back in the day, you used to be able to fold it up. That was like the allure. Oh, once you're done with it, you can fold it up and put it in your closet or something. That's where it stayed for everyone. So it just became this thing that clogged up your closet because no one uses treadmills at home. That's funny. Anyway, okay, so WeCrashed. I love it. I love it because I've been listening to like the Laundry podcast about Adam Newman for years now, and I think it's just so fascinating. I think the series is good. I think you need to do your outside research to really understand what an insane story this was. Yeah,
they do sympathize, at least in the first episode. You can tell they're trying to make you feel a certain way about Adam Newman and about Rebecca Newman. Yeah. They're it's almost like they're taking their side of it right now. So I'm interested to see how it develops in the next few episodes.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get to my MindGrapes, I just want to hit Womble's Hardware. If you're in Harnett County, North Carolina, let Womble's Hardware meet all your hardware, gardening, and farming needs. Womble's Hardware. If they don't have it, you don't need it.
Hashtag ad.
Yeah. So
some bills.
Here, I think we've discussed The Dropout ad nauseum. I'm still watching it.
Yeah.
I love it. Totally recommend it. But I think I want to get into Don't Look Up. So this came out. That was like the big
Christmas.
Netflix movie around Christmas. Oh. You guys have a different opinion on it. I understand it's a doom and gloom, climate change, alarmist kind of movie, but I thought it was really funny.
I honestly don't. I'd say for the actors that were in the movie, they have the capability of really being funny, and I just think it was very subpar. Like it was it was almost forced in a way, only because like that's the point of the movie. It's like that satire to have that funny, but like these guys are naturally funny people.
Yeah.
Like I've Jennifer Lawrence is she has her funny moments, but I thought it was forced. It was still a good watch, but it's nothing I would ever watch again.
Really?
Yeah. Like we were talking before the show, and I completely agree. It was a lazy movie. The humor in it was really lazy. Like I think Jonah Hill's character annoyed the shit out of me.
Really?
The entire series, because you could just tell that they were trying to force this whole idea that, and not to get too political, but it's like one side of the aisle is the educated, the intelligent. They truly know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Like they're gonna save the planet, or they recognize reality. And then, Jonah Hill's character was like a satire or a parody of the other side of the aisle. And it's like they didn't try to have an intelligent conversation from both sides of the aisle. And, Jonah Hill's character was a bumpkin the entire movie.
See, I think what they tried to do was make fun of both sides. And I'm okay with equal opportunity insults on both sides of the political aisle.
It just wasn't funny to me. Like I see how it was like that. It was just like,
who this remind me of? This Is the End.
Yeah, exactly. It was like that.
It reminded me of that movie.
It's another movie I didn't like.
Because again, is a bunch of actors who are really funny in other roles. They're just naturally funny people.
Yep.
Yet it was forced satire comedy that is just lazy. It's like just.
And the thing is, it's like they were trying to not be in your face about the message that they were selling, but it was like overtly in your face to the point where it was like, I'm done with this movie. I'm
gonna say something that you guys might not like, but I don't think Seth Rogen is funny.
I don't either.
At all. Like I don't. I've never seen it. Like people love like Knocked Up or what. Just never thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm. Is Seth Rogen even in Don't Look Up?
Is he?
No. But he's in This Is the End. I was just
okay. So you're segueing. Now, my favorite actor, like the best actor I can think of, is Leonardo DiCaprio. He was really good in the movie. It was just he played his character very well. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Jennifer Lawrence. She was really good in the movie. Just, I don't know, not a movie for me. I think there are better movies out there.
Blanchett was awesome. Dude, I think Jonah Hill is becoming like a seriously good actor.
But that's the thing, though. They really didn't capitalize on
the cast.
Like the cast.
Yeah.
Like Jonah and 100%. Leo they've shown they're really good together with the Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. So this would have been a great moment to show the interaction. Mm-hmm. But they didn't have that. I mean, obviously you would have like Jonah Hill come in and like, again, force humor. He's funny. Like he's a funny guy.
Can I just read one of the reviews from one of the MindGrapes users that I totally think is great for this movie. So at Not Stamos said something about a bunch of crazy rich movie stars getting together to remind me how much the world sucks that just doesn't really resonate with me.
Okay,
like that encapsulates it for me.
So there were two things about this that I just found very unique and that have stuck with me. Dr. Oglethorpe, Rob Morgan, he I guess they were locked. He was locked in a room with Jennifer Lawrence, and he says, I was having a conversation with Sting.
Oh, yeah.
And mid sentence, he farts. And he doesn't even acknowledge it.
Right. And he's like, I'm still enamored by him.
He's like, it was like, you know, how people used to describe Prince. It's like, he's just larger than... I just thought that was... He nailed that scene. And then Jennifer Lawrence, the next one is...
General.
Oh my God. All right, that was the one...
snack scene.
The snack was like...
That joke that ran throughout the entire movie, that one cracked me up, where it was like, why is he telling us we have to pay money for these Cheez-It crackers when they're free?
I don't get it. That is my kind of humor, because that is something that would bother me too. It like hits so close to home, and I would be like,
she couldn't get over it.
I just don't understand.
And I think that's what makes it so much funny, because like there's like the world is literally ending, right? And she literally has a reflection moment, like, he made us pay for the snacks.
He made us pay for the snacks. They were free snacks.
And he's like, what are you talking about? They were free.
Yes, that was funny, but still, like, that was probably the only redeeming part of the movie that I enjoyed.
Okay.
Everything else was trash. Now, can we talk about another movie that I think was trash that I watched this week?
Please.
All right, so I watched the new movie that just came out on Netflix called Windfall. I went into it with high hopes because they got a pretty stellar cast with Jason Segel, Lily Collins, Jesse Plemons, and really there's only 4 characters in the entire movie, which is amazing. First off, I'll say that it was beautifully shot. The cinematography was incredible. The scenery was amazing. Really good musical score, but this movie was trash. You can tell that the whole plot of the movie was they were trying to do this throwback to old Hollywood. I'm talking like 1950s Hollywood, where it's a little bit slower. They're trying to develop a story throughout the movie. There's not much action throughout the entire thing. It's more of a cerebral movie to get you to think. And I watched to the end thinking that there was going to be this moment where I was like, oh my gosh, you know, all of the puzzle pieces from throughout the movie are coming together. But I called the ending of the movie like a quarter of the way through it. I saw where it was going, and it was just a really lazy movie. There wasn't any character development. Like, I didn't care about Jason Segel's character at the end of the movie. I didn't care about the billionaire in the movie. I didn't sympathize with any of the characters, and at the end of it, I was just like, okay, credits roll. That's it.
Really?
You know. So not a huge fan of Windfall. Beautifully shot movie, beautiful score. I want the house that's in the movie. It's really pretty.
Really?
Really lazy.
I hate hearing that because I
Yeah.
love Jesse Plemons. You know who
Yeah.
that is? You know that guy? He's like in everything.
I can't tell if he's 25 or like 50.
I watched him in Fargo, and that was,
Wait, which season?
I think that was season 2, maybe.
Yeah. Really good.
He was a butcher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Game Night is probably one of my, that's one of the best comedies of all time. Definitely one of the best comedies.
Well, now you're saying I got to put that
in
on
the
the list.
Have you not seen Game Night?
I've seen it, but it's been a while.
That's a movie you can watch multiple times. I think that and the other guys are probably, in terms of the 20 teens, those are the two
Yeah.
funniest movies.
Yeah. All right. Have we talked about? I mean, we've hit on it throughout what you're watching, what you've liked, what you haven't liked since our last episode.
What's
on your MindGrapes?
My MindGrapes? Yeah, I think I hit 1883 last time.
Yep.
I think for anyone listening, if you want to just hit Clark at themindgrapes.com or Trent at themindgrapes.com, if you want to just give us any information you have or any feedback you have on the podcast, I am looking forward to Severance, which is also on Apple TV. What's that guy's name?
That's another reason why I got the subscription to Apple TV. I've been seeing some commercials for Severance, and it looks like it could be like a psychological thriller, but also in this office environment, this startup environment. Looks really fascinating to me.
Yeah, that and I want to watch that documentary Downfall about the Boeing, the case against Boeing. That looks really, really good.
And they just had another plane crash last week
in China. Yeah. But I wonder. Yeah.
It was a Boeing plane, and they grounded a bunch of that model airplane.
Really?
Yep. So I think
they can't catch a break.
They released that series, and
however, stock tip. That's not probably a bad stock to buy just because it's so bad news. Eventually, Boeing will. You can't get rid of Boeing.
No.
Boeing and Airbus are their entire fleets.
I mean, if you're a
airplanes.
long-term investor, definitely. Now, for the short-term investor that's trying to make a quick profit, there's still some room to fall for Boeing, unfortunately.
For sure. Okay. So how are we on time?
We are at 37 minutes, so we're nearing the end of the episode.
Well, I'll close it out with Life and Beth.
Okay.
So that is the new Amy Schumer movie.
Another movie we haven't talked about that we wanted to talk about was The Adam Project.
Okay.
We could talk that. We could talk it next week.
I'm going to say Life and Beth is not classic Amy Schumer. It's not. The type of what are her other famous movies? It's not like. What's the one? I Feel Pretty or something, or Snatched. Hers is. This is kind of a more subtle comedy, and Michael Cera plays kind of like an autistic character, but he's very funny. So it's a slower paced kind of comedy, like Her Mom Dies, and it's kind of a bit darker, but it's still very funny. Mm-hmm. Not the Amy Schumer I'm used to, and it's kind of like a pleasant growth. It seems like she's growing and not
because she normally plays the same character in every movie.
Yeah, like very crude and just kind of like very rated R, but
like vagina jokes.
Yes. So Adam Project.
Yeah.
Let's hear it, guys.
I loved it. It was like right on all.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I enjoyed it. I think we used the term last week, mental bubblegum, but it was just an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It was good for kids, adults. The comedy was there. Comedy was there. You really felt the characters acting when it did get a little sad. But I think it was a good overall movie with a great cast too. Mm. So
Ryan Reynolds, he can deliver, and he has his own flavor of comedy that seems unique to him.
Yeah.
And I'm more of his Deadpool comedy. I love when he gets out. But I think this was a family speed. He gave us comedy that was good for the entire family. And thumbs up.
It's thumbs up. I think it's a movie you don't have to think about while you're watching it. Mm-hmm. It's not an Interstellar type movie, which they could have gone that route.
I mean, Walker Scobell, He was great. The little kid.
Yeah.
Right? Adam.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Like super funny. I mean, they did a great job. I don't know what other movies he's been in.
Well, look on him under.
Yeah, he hasn't really been in
Nothing. This might have been his first movie.
Yeah, I think this is his first movie, but they did a great job molding him into that character. And
I think he's going to be an actor
yeah,
we see more from.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, cool. I think that's a good one to close us out on. Guys, got anything else?
I mean, I'm just happy to be here. Follow me on Blair _Bowler on MindGrapes.
Blair _Bowler on
just
MindGrapes.
do another plug for our socials. If you're not following us on Facebook and Instagram, just search the MindGrapes. That's where you'll find us. You can follow our weekly podcast and the clips that we release. We also try to put some funny content out there. So follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, thank you. And new update to the app. We hope you like it. Please invite your friends. Please invite everyone you know. We are growing, and we want to grow even faster to spread diet social media, where get to know you, connect through things that are non-toxic, like streaming media. So that's all I got. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
All right. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to today's MindGrapes podcast.